Welcome to the Fempire podcast for women building empires where your health, relationships, and wealth rise together. Here we focus on what moves the needle the most. I am your host, Jessica Joy. Let's sharpen the axe and dive in. If you start strong in the week on Monday with your health and body goals, but then by Wednesday, Thursday, you're starting to lose steam, and then the weekend isn't your best go, this is for you, because it's not that you need to be strong all week, but when we have this dip midweek and then we're going into the weekend depleted, it's really hard to be consistent with your health and body goals, get the results you want, maintain the results you want. So I'm going to talk about 3 deeper reasons that can be contributing to this, along with 3 deeper solutions. So first, I'll give a life update, and then we'll get into those. So we recently got back from a family trip to Tennessee. This is the first family vacay we've taken in a while, and it was so connecting. It was so lovely. We got to stay in it was an old schoolhouse in the Smoky Mountains. And there's an app called Home Exchange where you can get swap points. So I highly recommend this. Drove up there. We took our dog. We even took our cat. And we got to see underground waterfalls. We got to have this quality time. I was actually sick the entire time, but it was really an opportunity to practice focusing on what I wanted to focus on. And I still had such a lovely time. And so we've been back and getting back into the swing of things. And last night was Tuesday, and holy smokes, I'm like, it feels like it's Friday. I feel so depleted because we had to get right back in after vacay. I was still sick, and then the kids are out of school now. And there are some tools I've developed to get my energy up midweek, and I wanted to share them with you. Okay, so let's talk about the 3 things that may make it so that by Wednesday, or even Thursday, you're not as gung-ho, right? It's like, okay, the nutrition's starting to get a bit sloppy. Maybe you're like, kind of talking yourself into skipping a workout. Maybe you're having more indulgent things with your nutrition. This is honestly often a capacity issue, not a deep motivation issue. It's like you want to show up for your health, and you even believe it's possible and have a good identity around being a healthy woman. But lots of women are navigating so many things with motherhood and work and finances and the kids' activities, and then prioritizing their health and their relationships, and it can be a lot. And so how much is your capacity? So all of these things are going to help give you more space so that you are operating from more of a full tank, which makes everything easier in your life. So point number 1, this one's a bit more obvious, but first we want to look at the strategy that you're using to get healthier, lose weight, gain strength, etc. A lot of cookie cutter programs are so rigid that even I would be drained by Wednesday or Thursday on these. And I used to use these, and I always wondered why I would there were so many weeks I would just mess it up midweek. And it was just typically the approaches are too rigid. There's not a lot of flexibility with the nutrition. And you're just trying to follow these rules, which is really draining. And then typically they're giving you more workouts than you really need because they want you to get fast results. So you think their program's so great. We need to stop focusing on fast results. Yes, we can do this efficiently, but we need to focus on lasting results. And doing too much too soon or doing more than you really need to do, like it's too rigid, it's too much, of course you're going to be depleted midweek. So what is the solution to this? 2 things. 1, you want to think of your growing edge. This is something we do with all of our clients. We see where they're at, what they're currently doing with their health and lifestyle, and what their bandwidth and schedule is like. And then we take them to a growing edge. So this is where they're currently at. And then we just want to expand it a little bit and get them moving in the right direction so that they're seeing results. Okay, so it's not like all of a sudden you go from, okay, I'm gonna get in shape now. You just It's just, of course, it's gonna break. It's just we need to gradually expand your capacity in what you're doing. Next is focusing on what's effective and moves the needle, and then letting go of the rest. Okay, this is where effective strategies are key because we all know there's so many things you could do with your health and body,
But what if you just focused on what moves the needle the most and let go of the fluff? Yes. That is so crucial. So just, I've talked about these in other podcasts, but some of this would be understanding your nutritional needs. Okay, how much food do you actually need? How much carbs, protein, fats are a good balance for you? Taking fat loss in phases, strength training with progressive overload, and adding some deep core. Just get good at that. And then those are the skills that move the needle. You get better at them. They become very easy. You can maintain very easily. Boom. Like that's what moves the needle. If you want to incorporate other things that make you happy, like Pilates or cake, cool. You can. I'm a big fan of 80-20% whole foods, 20% give yourself the wiggle room so that you have that flexibility. And then when you understand your nutritional needs, you can make your own food choices. So you're not stuck on these rules. It's like, if Tuesday got a bit wild and you need to do something on the fly, cool. You can piece something together really easily. I also am a big fan of food prep. That way, the majority of your cooking's done like twice a week. And, you're not, it's not such a draining regimen to be cooking so much. Okay. You want to keep your nutrition really simple, batch prep some things. All right. The next 2 points are my favorites. So, point number 2 is being aware of your thoughts, because the thoughts and what you're focusing on can really drain you if you're not careful. Okay. And there's 2 aspects of this. First, I want to talk about holding the vision in the container of who you are becoming and the goal. It's like, oh, I see the healthy body. I feel it. I know the energy I'm going to have. I know it's going to make me feel great long term. I'm going to put on clothes and just feel like myself. I'm not going to have these aches and pains, like so many things. I'm going to feel confident in my skin. I'm not going to be in my head about my body, like none of that. It's like, oh, I have the vision of what I want. And I could elaborate on that, but you have your own vision. And then it's holding that it's possible. I'm worthy of it. I'm on my way. Everything's happening for me. Even the challenges that are coming are helping me develop the skills and practices I need to get there and maintain it. That's holding the container, holding the vision. Collapsing is leaning into, oh, is this worth it? Oh, it's so far. Oh, I don't know if I can make it. It's leaning into, it's not possible. It's leaning into fear. It's leaning into limitation, and it's collapsing that vision and container, which will be very draining. When you're operating from more drain, then your actions will follow suit. So that's where you're like, I'm not going to do the workout tonight, or, I'm just going to order the food. It's just tonight, like, F it, Whereas the person who holds the vision, they can be a little bit depleted and still be like, you know what? Even though I'm tired, I'm not going to order the junk food. It's like, I'm going to hold this. I know this is an opportunity for me to practice choosing the healthier thing, So it's like, I got this. And the thoughts that you're thinking, and I teach this in our coaching, will put you in what I call either a survival state or a leadership state. So survival state, it's like you're more dysregulated. So if you're thinking things that are based in fear, limitation, etc., worry, concern, stress, like you will be operating from that place. Whereas a leadership state is very empowered. It's like everything's working out for me. I'm on my way. I have enough of everything, time, energy, money. Like I have enough. I've always had enough. I'll always have enough. And believing like that things are possible. Everything's working out for me, etc. And so when we're focused on those types of thoughts, they're more energizing. They're not going to create more tension or stress in our body, which ultimately drains us and leads us to less healthy choices. So those are the 2 around thoughts. It's holding the vision and being in the practice of observing thoughts and shifting them. So one secret weapon to this is using guided meditations in the evening. I use these often, and I have become more committed to this practice as I've had to as I've had more like quote stressful things happen in my life with some shifts going on. And, both of my husband and I are both business owners. And so we run our own businesses, and literally his podcast studio is right next door. We're very close proximity, running businesses. Inevitably, there's challenges and stretch seasons often on the reg, and we're parents, and we really love our kids and prioritize our kids and all of that. And if he's stretched, I can feel that too. And it's like, I need to really prioritize my energy, etc. So I've been using guided meditations to fall asleep, and I would highly recommend trying this yourself. Here's why. So in the evening, that's when you're more depleted, and that's when it's really easy to fall into more survival based thinking and energy. So thinking about all the things you have to do. So future casting, thinking about all the things in the past, thinking not in such an empowered way of possibility and vision. It's just like you're just trying to survive sometimes. And so guided meditations will bring in positive thoughts, which will do two things. One, it will help you stop thinking about the thoughts that are more draining you and getting you in a more dysregulated or drained, tense space. So stopping the thoughts is key. That's actually one of the biggest ways you can regulate your nervous system is, okay, what am I focusing on? Is that is contributing to the state of your nervous system. You can shift your thoughts so you can shift the state of your nervous system. It's amazing. But lots of times in the evening, doing the whole reframe of your thoughts is just more, it's just like, sometimes your tank's a little bit low. So bringing in these guided meditations, you will stop thinking of those thoughts, and then you'll start to, it'll just guide you to really empowered thoughts that help your whole body to relax. And I believe we're marinating in the state that we fall asleep in. So if we fall asleep a little bit stressed, we're kind of marinating in stress. You may have a bad dream. You wake up and you're like, well, I got sleep, but I don't feel very restored. Whereas if you can fall asleep in a more relaxed state from the guided meditation, you can marinate in that state, wake up feeling much more refreshed. Okay. Because the guided meditation helped your nervous system to get into a more relaxed, holding less tension, and your brain's more calm. Beautiful. Okay. So when it comes to these, there's different ones online that are totally free, and you kind of have to find ones that resonate with you. There's certain ones I've tried that I'm like, ew, the sounds on it or the voice of it or some of the things they said, I'm like, no. But then there's ones I've found that, oh my goodness, just like helps me relax. I love Boho Beautiful. I love a David Bear. He has a 10-hour sleep meditation, and it's not AI. And I really love that one, but you get to explore what works for you. I would highly recommend this. This is one of the biggest challenges when it comes to our clients. And it's like they have these thoughts at night that it's like, I can't turn my brain off. Guided meditation. Okay, because that is going to make your sleep more restorative. That is a huge priority. It's keeping the tank full so you're not, gassed by Thursday. Okay, so I did this last night and oh my goodness, it was such a gift. I always notice a difference in the quality of my sleep when I fall asleep to those versus when I don't. Like I've really been doing this past few months and I'm obsessed. So there's that. Next, point number 3 is, let's say Wednesday, Thursday. Think about how our culture operates in the week. You're just running low by Wednesday, Thursday. You just aren't as rested. On Saturday, Sunday, we have a little bit more spaciousness. We have a little bit more time to rest and do things that aren't just work, work, work and getting through the week, right? So we're relying on this one weekend to like keep us full through the whole week. It makes sense to have what I call a midweek restoration practice. This can be Wednesday, this can be Thursday, where we're helping ourselves get a little bit more rest and restoration so that we have a bump up in our energy. And then Thursday, Friday, and then going into the weekend, we're not just operating from really low tank. Okay, this makes sense. Let's talk about a solution for making this happen and feasible. Okay, so first, when it comes to rest and allowing rest, there are some deeper pieces I see coming up for our clients, and I've been working through myself. So, fully allowing yourself to take rest, not feeling guilty about it, not feeling like you could be getting something else done, not feeling like, oh, I'm a better person if I'm more productive, or, just feeling like you can't just fully rest. One, we need to believe that that is something that is a priority. We're worthy of it. And it has nothing to do if we're being a good or bad person if we take rest, or we're earning some points if we're being super productive. Like there are times that rest is the most, quote, productive thing you can do because we need to be mindful of our energy. Energy levels equal the decisions we make equal the results we get. When we're operating on low energy, that's when our health choices won't be as good. How we're communicating with people we care about won't be as good, which can lead to breakdowns, which ultimately is very draining. We're not making as good decisions in work, which can, or we're just, and then we have to go fix something. Okay, so when we look at the bird's eye view, energy levels are huge. Okay, it's a domino for everything else. So rest is just to help you see how important it is. Okay. Next is I found that lots of ladies are disconnected from a full body rest. And so we're trying to meet this rest need with very shallow forms of rest. And that can typically just be more distraction or numbing, or just trying to find some form of dopamine in our life. So this could be scrolling, which is like, yeah, you're taking a break, but it's not this full body restorative break, or food or drinking. It's like it's this short term little fix to just kind of bridge the gap. Let's talk about deep restorative rest. Okay. So the way I learned this was I did a whole meditation course a few years ago, and getting to a place in your body where you are fully relaxed. There is no tension in your body, and there is nothing in your mind that is activating your nervous system. You are just so neutral. And I call it like you are taking a bath. You are soaking in. Okay, imagine like if you're getting a massage, like how you let your whole body relax and you let your mind relax and you just be. That's what you want to get to. It's a whole de-escalating of any activation in your nervous system. And it's, I would say, even leaning into the pleasure of the rest, where it's like, this is so good. Oh, I just like love this. I'm just soaking it in. Okay. Can you be stressed and in like a pleasure relaxed state at the same time? No. So I would recommend midweek, you're doing something like this for yourself. Now, this can be creating an environment and structure in your life that supports this. So a couple things that can help: communicating with your household. Wednesday or Thursday night, mom has some time for herself. So, you could start with a half hour or an hour. Okay, it depends on your situation. All right, some of you guys don't have kids. You do you. But what I do is I rely a lot more on leftovers that night. This is another reason I like more of a minimal workout schedule, because I'll typically work out Monday, Thursday, Saturday, or Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. So I have this one midweek time where I'm not going to go work out in the evening. It's just restoration time. Okay. So this could be having a conversation with your husband that he's going to be helping more. This can be being okay with the house being a little bit messier. This can be letting the kids know, hey, during this time, this is not where you come visit me. Like, get your environment set up for a midweek restoration practice. The next edge I've seen with women is they don't quite know what fills their cup, because we've been using really shallow forms of like, okay, I'm going to watch a show, or I'm going to, you know, it's like, what do I really love? What really fills me up? And so this is where I want you to be curious and go on an exploration journey. And don't plan it in advance. Set aside the time. It's like, I'm going to have an hour that's just for whatever I want in that moment. And it's like, what feels restorative and pleasurable? What do I really need in this moment? And start practicing tuning into yourself and being curious. And you'll get a little spark of an idea, and then boom, like go do it. So this could be, so some examples of ones I've done are just taking a bath, listening to music or a podcast, or sometimes I listen to these poetry classes with Chelsea Diane. Highly recommend. And sometimes I will write poetry. Sometimes I will play the piano. Sometimes I'm literally just laying down and imagining I take off all the backpacks of kind of what I'm carrying in my life, get to neutral. I imagine white light coming in. And then I imagine that soaking in the rest. I'm like, oh, how can I just take a bath of resting? It's almost like I'm doing rest. You just start to see, okay, can I turn off all the tension in my body. Is there any tension that I'm holding between my eyes? Is there tension in my temples? And you just do this full body scan of like, doop, turn off the tension, turn off the tension, turn off the tension. And you just start to get your body in this state that it's so, okay, that is rest. That is restoration. Okay. Scrolling is a very shallow form of rest. So, of course, you're not coming away very restored. So, this is a practice, one, of setting aside the time. This is a practice of reacquainting yourself and deepening what rest is for you and feeling it in your body. When you practice it more, then you're going to operate more from that state in your day. It's an opportunity for your nervous system to get to total neutral. Okay, we need to do that if we're not going to be depleted throughout the week. Okay, and then it's tapping you into like, what really restores you? Okay, and being curious. Please, it is not screens. Okay, it's not screens. It's not food. Those are very surface level forms of rest or treating yourself. So we get to get reacquaint with like what rest really is. So I love the vision of, okay, soaking in it. Ooh, and then like what feels juicy. Now, sometimes I'm just so freaking tired that I'm like, I'm just gonna sit in a bath and do freaking nothing. And then over time, I start to come back online. I tell you, it's about 20 minutes in an Epsom salt bath, and something clicks for me where I'm like, oh, there I am. There she is. I feel like myself again a little bit. I'm not so running on empty. Now, something I try not to get to empty. I try to restore before I'm on empty, but sometimes we just are navigating it a lot in our lives. And the last thing I want to do is contribute to anybody shaming themselves for running on empty. It's like, okay. And often that's a sign of, okay, how can I set better boundaries? How can I create some space in my life to do these more restorative things? So, midweek restoration practice. Then from there, I had such a great sleep from my guided meditation, for example, last night. I woke up and I'm like, I can rock the rest of this week. Like that rest was so good. Like, I'm going to be good. I remember last night I was questioning, I'm like, it feels like Friday night. I'm like, oh, how am I going to, like, this week? Like, I had such a vision of the things I was going to create and do. And I just feel like I'm just trying to get by. Had that restorative rest with the guided meditation, went to bed early, woke up Wednesday. I'm like, there we go. There we go. And that inspired this podcast because, man, who you are on a Monday morning versus who you are on a Wednesday evening can be so different. And so we need to be mindful of, how am I sourcing this? Okay. Is the strategy I'm using depleting me way more? Can I look for something that's way more effective and less stretchy, So if you need help with strategy, then you can always find me on Instagram. It's .jessicajoy. It said be ready. If you are willing to put in smart effort that fits you, we will get the job done. Like, we will support you. We will hold you accountable. We will make it effective. We will fit it to you. And honestly, outsourcing some of that can give you so much more energy. And then you can get the health and body you want and be set up to maintain it. Okay. So you can always reach out to me, ready, anywhere on social media. We will chat. I want to better understand where you're at and, see what would truly help you. But that's what we do in our coaching. Okay. There's a reason I'm so passionate about it, because I know how good we are. I know how much it can help women. So that's number one, is the strategy. 2 is, catch the thoughts. This is a practice. Doing deeper work around shifting the deeper beliefs in the subconscious will prevent needing so much reframing. But it's like, okay, what thoughts am I choosing? And am I holding the vision? Am I holding the container? Because your health and body that you want, that makes you feel really good, that's genuinely healthy, that allows you to glow and be full of energy now and for years to come, it is doable. You are worthy of it. You are capable of it. Like, abso-freaking-lutely, I have no doubt. But you get to hold that. Okay. And you can lean on my belief if you need to. Well, Jess believes it. Okay. Yes. Because I know I've worked with hundreds of women, and it's absolutely doable, but you need to hold that belief. And then what are you focusing on in your life? And this is something I didn't talk about too much, but we can focus on things that are very draining. Like, oh, I don't have enough time for this, or, oh, this is so hard right now, or like the stressful thing in work. If you are ruminating on that, you are literally, it's like putting drains in your own energy. How can we shift how we're thinking about it? Okay, man, I'm really stretched for time right now. What do I need to prioritize and what can I let go of? Because I have enough time. I've always had enough time. And I get better at how I'm using my time. Amazing. How does that make you feel? That makes you feel like you have way more energy. And then you're looking at solutions. The more that you can stay neutral in your nervous system, the more that you can focus on the solutions instead of just ruminating on how things are challenging, which is so draining, right? Or if we're looking at money, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to have enough. I have enough. I've always had enough. I'll always have enough. And I'm only going to get better at learning how to invest and learning how to allocate funds. And more is always coming to me. And who knows what's around the corner that's a great opportunity. And how can I actually create maybe another source of income? It's like, that's an energizing way to look at it. And we're not putting holes in our own energetic bag and draining ourselves. Okay. But it does take being conscious and practicing. And really, the big thing is stop. All you have to do is stop entertaining those. It can be so quick. I did one last night where I'm like, oh my gosh, I was choosing thoughts that were contributing to my own fatigue and stress. And I thought, oh, I actually went and played one song on the piano and I shifted how I was thinking. I'm like, all I need to focus on tonight is this and that. I can do that. Oh, as my husband's just been so stressed and stretched in his work right now, just crazy hours and navigating huge challenges. And it was starting to get to me. I'm like, oh, this is feeling heavy. How do I support him? I'm trying not to have it impact my energy. I'm so tired. I'm like, okay, I'll support him. Let's get these certain things done in the household. And then I just like let myself relax doing those things. It's like I got the house taken care of in a relaxed state and got caught up on some of the laundry from the trip. And I was like, and I totally operated from a different place just by shifting how I was looking at it. So, and then I even had, when I was in that depleted state, I was like, oh, I just want to eat junk food. Like this still pops up for me. Like, you know what? I just want to eat carbs and have some dessert and, I'll be healthier tomorrow. I'm like, okay, deep down, I know I don't actually want to do that. Drink some water, have the protein. I let that urge come and go. And I really honored my nutrition. I didn't have the dessert. I had a couple bites of ice cream and I let myself savor them. And then I shifted how I was focusing and navigated the night really well. And that was so much of a mindset game. Okay, that's having that internal locus of control instead of external, where the things in your circumstances and the things in your external environment are dictating how you're feeling and thinking. No, I dictate how I feel and think, even with these external things coming at me. And if I need to do a checkpoint, cool. First thing is getting more relaxed and stop thinking the thoughts that are depleting you. Like that alone, that will allow you to think more clearly and make the choices that are in your best interest and operate from a more relaxed, I call it relaxed power. And it doesn't mean like, it can mean power, but it can also just mean like a relaxed knowing I've got this. Okay, that's relaxed power. That's something that we do in the nervous system training walks, shifting into that state and practicing it. And then doing the guided meditations can really help even retrain some of your subconscious patterns while you're sleeping. And it doesn't take any extra time, which is amazing. And then point 3 is doing a midweek restoration practice. And I just think this needs to be a protocol for everybody. Okay. Especially as a woman, we have massive energetic needs. Okay. And just meeting some on the weekend, like that's great. We need a midweek bump up, y'alls. A midweek bump. Okay. So give that to yourself. Create the space. Get curious. Lean into full body relaxing. All right. And that's not only going to fill your cup and energy, but it's so great for your nervous system. It's going to bring your cortisol down. It's going to help you make better food choices. It's going to help you hold the vision that you have for your health and body and for your life. It's just a huge domino for everything else. So that is it. And I would love to hear what resonated the most with you. And drop it in the comments. I want to engage more with what's landing with you. And we will see you on the next episode.